It's Whitt and Wes from Lone Eagle Martial Arts here in Richardson, Texas. We're just going to go over a little bit about stretching. We have a lot of new students. A lot of people ask us, what can I do at home to get better, to improve, especially with adults wanting to get more flexible. So there's two kinds of stretching that we want to talk about today. One is static stretching. Static stretching is where you're going to stretch and hold that stretch for a limited amount of time, whether it's 10 seconds, 5 seconds, and you're going to gradually over time try to get that better. And then there's dynamic stretching. Dynamic stretching is when you're actually going to have a movement and while you're stretching. So it won't be a stop and hold, you'll constantly move. Static stretching is really good for like in the morning when you wake up and your muscles are cold, or if you have a soreness or an illness. Static stretching is really, really good to help that. Stretching is proven to help lower blood pressure, and it helps in a lot of different ways in your health. Dynamic stretching is better after you maybe gone for a 10-minute walk in the evening and you want to stretch. This is where you're going to get a deeper stretch, a more wholesome stretch in your muscles to actually probably make a little bit bigger of a difference. So we're just going to go over a couple exercises here. I'm going to demonstrate the static stretch, and then Wes is going to demonstrate the same version of the stretch, and it's going to be the dynamic. So the first one we're going to do, we've done this before in class. If you come to our classes, you know we do this, and we've done both of these stretches in class. The first one is just reach down and touch your toes. As a static stretch, what I want to do is I want to bend at my hips and apply my chest, keeping my back straight up until the moment I get to the lowest, and then I'm trying to put my chest on my legs. So when I go down, I'm going to go down, pushing my hips up, keeping my back straight. Now when I get down here, I'm going to grab whatever my toes, the floor. If I'm not that flexible, maybe it's just my knees. And then I'm going to try to pull my chest towards my thighs. And then we'll hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You may do a couple sets, maybe 3 sets, 10 seconds each, and then we'll roll on to the next stretch. Now, my brother Wesley's going to demonstrate the dynamic version of this stretch.
Okay, so the dynamic version for this stretch is where you, like Whitt was saying, you put your feet together and you're going to reach down, but there's going to be 3 different levels. We're going to start off really more shallow, and we're going to get deeper and deeper each time we go. So for time purposes, I'll do 5 of each technique. And hopefully you can see it out there. I'll take a step back, maybe you can see a little bit more. The first one, I'm just using my fingertips, okay? I'm gonna do the same motion, but I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna touch my fingertips, I'm gonna come right back up. I like to keep my hands right here on my ribs because it reinforces some of the other martial arts lessons that we do. So it'll be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The next one, to get a little bit deeper, instead of using my fingertips, now I'm gonna use the knuckles of my fist, still striking with the 2 knuckles that we use as a punch, and it'll look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, the last part of this is I want to get as deep as I possibly can. So I'm going to flatten out my hands, and I'm going to try to do palm heel strikes for our students that have learned that onto the ground, or I'm going to try to place my hands and palms firmly flat on the ground as I reach down. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's the dynamic stretch of that version.
All right, so the next stretch we're going to do, I call it the V stretch. You may have heard of a couple different names. What we're going to do is we're going to have our shoulders about 1.5 times the width of our shoulders. So if we stand in here, this is about our shoulder width. Let's take another half step out, and we're just going to go to each leg. We'll go right, left, center, and we'll hold for approximately 10 seconds. In the lieu of keeping this video too long, I'm going to do it for about 3 seconds each position so you can see, but it's the same concept, keeping your spine in a neutral position and pushing your chest down to your leg. So it looks something like this. I'll take my opposite hand to my right foot, keeping my back in a neutral, straight position, and trying to put my chest to my knee. 1, 2, 3. Stay down. Keep going. Over to the left, right to the outside of my foot. 1, 2, 3. And then I may go down the center and either grab both my heels, or I may even just put my elbows out. 1, 2, 3. Again, for you guys, that may be a 10 count, and you may do 3 sets of that. Wes is going to demonstrate the dynamic version of that.
All right, so the dynamic version here is, like he said, we're about 1.5 times. I like to start when I do the dynamic stretch in the middle, because that way when I first start, both my hamstrings get a little bit of work, and then I isolate. So, and some people will go left, middle, right, or right, middle, left. That's not wrong. This is just a personal preference of mine. So all it is the same kind of thing we just did. I'm going to reach down and touch, reach over and touch, reach over and touch. And I'll do it one more time. Down, up, left, up, right, up.
All right, so we're going to do a couple more stretches here. The next one is called the hurdler stretch. It's a seated stretch, and I may pick my right or left leg to go out first. The other one is tucked as close to my body as I can possibly get it. Same thing, my toes are up, my leg is straight. I don't bend my leg to be able to reach my toes. I reach for my toes. If I can't reach my toes, I'll grab my calf and try to pull myself down. If I grab my toes, I'll put both feet over, and again, my back stays straight, and I'm trying to push my chest down to my leg, not arching my back, and hold for 10. 1, 2, 3, and so forth to 10. And then you'll switch legs, and the same thing going the other way. Toes up, hands up, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10. 3 sets of that. Now Wes will demonstrate his dynamic version.
All right, the dynamic version of the hurdler stretch, okay? There's 2 ways to do it, and I like to do both ways. Like Whitt was saying, you have your foot in as close to your body as you can. The opposite way is also with your foot back. This just makes it a little bit extra stretch right here on the quad while you're doing it, but the dynamic part of that stretch is the same for the hurdler stretch. So we're going to put our hand in here. If we're going to our right, we're going to raise our left hand in the air. And the reason I raise my left hand in the air is I want to get a good stretch throughout my side and my obliques so I can reach across and touch the outside of my right foot. So it'll be like this. We would do it to count of 10, but I'll do it for count of 3 just for expediency process here. Ready? So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and we want to, when we switch feet, we want to make sure we're thinking fast so we move fast. So we want to move as fast as we can whenever we switch, not in a lackadaisical motion. And the same thing, right hand up, 1, 2, and 3.
Good. And those are just a few of the stretches that we do. There's several more, and we'll post some more as we go. I don't want this video to be too long, but if you can do these 3 stretches every day, 5 days a week, in the morning and at night before you go to bed, you'll see a dramatic difference in your flexibility. Your ability to sleep will probably get better. Your blood pressure will ultimately go down, and you'll see better if you lift heavy weights or just how you feel in your day-to-day business. So that's all that we have for you today. Hope you enjoy it, and if you have any questions, please post in the comments below. Thanks.